We have the whip around here. We have some NCAA women's college sports whip around. We have a kind of a little different twist to get some whip around in. We have Texas of Austin up a goal on Texas and Corpus Christi. And then that game's over. Mississippi State Arkansas State in the fourth. Oh! Texas and Corpus Christi just took a goal! Oh my gosh! They just took it. Oh my gosh. Wow. 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 Let's see. Wait.
Got somebody ahead of them in the Missouri Valley Conference standings.
Magic and women's volleyball. Okay. Then we have
game winner, 97.
Missouri, Texas A&M.
And now we're looking.
Yeah, it's 9. Wait, and then so, yeah. We have field hockey. Syracuse Wake Forest is like there's a local emergency in it. So yeah, scenes or something. So we have 6 parts of a women's college volleyball or whip-ons. 6, so 15 parts. It's an hour and a half. So we have St. Louis and Chicago in set 5. St. Louis leads 11-8. In women's soccer, Texas and Corpus Christi lost inside a goal piece. And then we have Mississippi State, and then we have Missouri State Notice. And that just kind of radios at 6:55 Eastern this week. That's at 8:25 or Central. So that's 6:55 Eastern, so it'll be 9:25 Eastern. Number 2 LSU, number 14 Tennessee. And the Syracuse Wake Forest is laid to an emergency in the local emergency. And we have some basketball. But I said I'm not going to mention the basketball yet because the basketball is not going on. I'm not doing basketball whip runs. Quite yet. You have St. Louis and Chicago, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Stephen F. Austin.
At least have a second chance here.
They have overtime, a second chance. Drake and Northern Ireland women's volleyball. Missouri State, Middle Tennessee, and Conference USA Women's Soccer Championships. The Women's Soccer Championship in the Conference USA. Missouri State, Middle Tennessee. Missouri State's first year in Conference USA. They're in Missouri Valley Conference. They test NFL number 2. So let's go to and then this is an overtime Texas versus Steve Austin. So let's go to women's volleyball here. A regular season match. The feature. They always have a Tuesday night or feature match. Usually. Or sometimes it's Wednesday night. But it's a feature match at 5 Eastern time. This is the 5 Eastern time feature match. St. Louis and Loyola Chicago. This week. And there it is. Point. Loyola Chicago. And there's time up St. Louis. Actually, let's keep it here.
The Billikens have 2. 11-9 St. Louis. Here at crunch time in the 5th set. I mean, St. Louis doesn't look like a team that's only 4-9 in the Big Ten. I'll say that. Seeing them up close and personal, again, that could just be matchup and competition. Matchup, but also getting better as the season goes. Because before the 2 losses at Duquesne this past weekend, they had won 4 straight. Now, granted, against 2 of them are against Rhode Island. They're in last place. 2 wins over Fordham. They've struggled as well, but I said this on the call to Coach Beatty Kane, like, yeah, sure, maybe competition not as the highest it could be, but you still got to execute and make the plays, and they did in those matches, and so maybe getting back to some of that play here today.
When you look at their defense, they're going to bring a lot of challenges to other teams by the fact that they can take the ball and keep it going.
Landon to win the serve. 11-9 Billikens here in the fifth. Maddox block. Henry and Remis still playable for St. Louis. Maddox again off the net. Great play by Falk. Molnau the attack, but the Billiken block. Jansen and Brenning. 12-9 St. Louis. The good defense by Falk answered back by the Billiken block.
Consider the fact that we're almost to 30 blocks in this match by the combined blocking of these teams. All the defense up at the net.
16 for Loyola, 13 for St. Louis. That's over. Loyola's had a couple of issues like that here in the fifth. DeWitt gets over to it. Molnau. No touch. And the Billikens are 2 away with a good cushion here. 13-9, and Loyola will use its second and final timeout.
For St. Louis, they got to keep the pressure on at the net. We talked about the blocking and how Loyola leads that category with 16, but for the Billikens, they're creating hitting errors by their presence there, forcing the hitter to hit something that maybe isn't their bread and butter shot.
In this fifth set, Loyola 7 kills, 4 errors. St. Louis 8 kills, 2 mistakes. And Loyola led 2 sets to 1. This could be a reverse of what happened in St. Louis, where the Ramblers had a 2-1 deficit in one sets 4 and 5, 25-21, 15-9. Billikens had the 2-1 deficit here, and they won the fourth 25-21. Right now have a 13-9 lead and could win it, presumably 15-9. And matching what the Ramblers did.
Both sides coming into last time Loyola going into the Billikens gym. This time Billikens coming into Ramblers gym.
Playing this game in kind of the middle of the afternoon to allow St. Louis for the long bus ride home to not get back at 2 in the morning, to be just midnight. Henry, Molnau, block back, out of bounds. 13-10.
Good response from the Ramblers out of the timeout. We've seen throughout the set, sometimes they would win those points after a timeout, and sometimes they wouldn't. But in this crucial fifth game, that was a good response.
Remis serving. Career high 20 kills today for her. Asamoah, not a clean dig for DeWitt, but Remis goes and gets it. Can the Billikens take advantage of a free ball? And they can, and they now have match point at 14-10.
Asamoah, we've seen her along the blocking. She hasn't had necessarily a really strong, productive kills today, but at the right time and seeing the court properly.
Match point for the Billikens. Trying to win this in comeback fashion. And Brenning the serve. Ball calls over to Molnau. Brenning sets Maddox out. 14-11.
Good swing going deep, trying to go down the line, just wasn't there.
Right now you have Remis on the sideline for the Ramblers. Bleak, Burke, and Molnau in the front row. Henry the serve. Maddox has to wait a bit for it to Bleak. That's a block touch, now a first touch overall. Molnau to the net, blocked, played by Brenning. Free ball Loyola. Henry to the Bleak, ends up tipping it. And 3 nice plays, and that ball to the wind was tight to that back line and makes an error on the pass, and St. Louis comes from behind to do what Loyola did to them. Pelicans led 2-1 in St. Louis, ended up losing it in 5. Today the Ramblers led 2-1 and lose it in 5 as the Billikens take the win in the fifth set. And let's see if this builds now these final 2 weeks for St. Louis they find themselves in the A10 tournament potentially starting with this.
And they could be in the A10 tournament now. You see, not every team makes it in conference. Some conferences, every team does. Some conferences, every team does not make it. Like in soccer, every team does not make it to their conference tournaments. So you have to earn your way in. So it's delayed. Is it still delayed due to local emergency? Yes, it is. It's delayed due to local emergency. Certainly like a third AC Network football podcast. So let's go to the Southland Conference, where Stephen F. Austin, Texas Corpus Christi bound Steve Austin leader. I'm gonna be watching the Minnesota Golden Gophers match at 8 Eastern, 7 Central. In men's basketball. So later I will be doing some work on the women's basketball. We'll be doing St. Mary's at Wyoming, Bethesda University College, Minot Portland, Carroll Montana at Montana State, Seattle Pacific at Montana, New Mexico at USC and Frank State Florida. I'll only be able to do 30 minutes of that. I'll not be able to do the full time. The full of those work from. I will not. Because of the videos I'm doing. So yeah, I'll only be able to do so much of it. But I'll do it though. The whip run I will. Though still doing the whip runs. So yeah. Just pretty insane. The whip I may use some more if I have another book to play with, but on the videos. But I don't know if I will. I don't know if I do or don't. So just do it here. You know what? It is what it is. It's fine. I just do it, but I'll still be watching those games. So will still be doing that. Watching them after or and I'll also be bringing, depending on when the field hockey is going on, we're bringing that in, and I'll also be doing Lamar, Southeastern Louisiana if they're still going on, and I'll also be doing LSU at Tennessee soccer, which I'll be definitely showing that. So I'll be doing that as well. So man, I'll be bringing that up. I'll be watching that instead. After it's focused on these two. So didn't think about that, but that is totally what I probably will do. No, honestly. Let's go to overtime now in the Southland Conference Women's Soccer Championships. Or it could be just the Southland Conference Soccer Championships. If they don't sponsor men's soccer, they sponsor women's soccer. If they sponsor both men, the women's soccer, also women's soccer, men's, they only sponsor one of the two. Like volleyball, a lot of conferences don't sponsor men's volleyball. So they'll say volleyball, the Southland Volleyball Championships.
Yeah, I'd much rather slide on turf than I had artificial. Deep throw in.
And it's golden goal, so winner. So the next goal wins. You have to have the fall overtime period or like refreshing the second. Both halves of extra of the time, the 15 minute ones. You don't have to play it out in
collision there
college soccer. You just have to play it out in.
between Hausler. And I want to say that's
In professional soccer, you don't play it out. In college soccer, you don't. In professional, you have to play it out. Well, it's 15 minutes.